Happy New Year. I'm so glad you're here, and I'm so glad we're here. I'd like to introduce someone to you if you don't know him already. This is Pastor Jed. He's our senior pastor at Good Samaritan Church in Valley Springs, and he's been here for about 2.5 years, and we have grown to love him.
And good Sam, I want to introduce you to someone who needs no introduction. This is LJ Jolliffe. She served in every leadership position here at Good Sam. She loves this church. She has a huge heart for this church. She has big plans for this church. We love serving together. She's been the chair for the last 2.5 years, and we're thrilled that we get to continue our partnership together, asking God what He plans for this church, and then asking God to help us to partner with Him. One of the things we wanted to do is to bring you up to speed with the work of the leadership team. Last year, we spent time planning and praying that God would give us a clear vision of the future. I don't know if you've received one of these. It's our annual report, and it speaks to what God has done in 2022, and it speaks to where we are going in 2023. This year, we are planning and praying that 30 people would commit their lives to Christ. We are planning and praying that we would host 3 sessions of Wednesday Night Live. It's an opportunity for the church to gather together in fellowship, enjoy a meal, and study scripture together. We're planning and praying that we would launch 2 discipleship groups. And we have so many people coming to Christ that we want to offer a new members class. We're also planning and praying that we would host an event that would reach the needs of our community. Right now, we're thinking that Financial Peace University will be that vehicle that we can reach the needs of our community through something like Financial Peace University.
That's awesome. So our strategic goals we're going to be looking at are, we're going to get some coaching for Pastor Jed as well as the leadership team. We want to work with the Awana team, Paula Ruff specifically, and we want to grow that carnival to even better. We understand that that's one of the best events in our whole community, and we want that to go on for years and years and years. And so we're going to listen and learn from Paula as we go. We're also going to be looking at some solar panel options. Of course, we're trying to come up with some creative ways to help with our financing, and solar panels might just be one of those vehicles that we're gonna fix those finances with. And lastly, we're going to take our staff as well as some leadership members to Thrive. It's a conference for leaders of churches, and so I'm real excited about that.
Mm-hmm. While we're here, we wanted to invite you to a congregational meeting. It's going to happen on February 5th, right after the service. Now, why would we invite you to an annual meeting? It's because you are members of Good Sam. You're friends of Good Sam. Now, you might ask the question, like, who is ultimately in charge of Good Sam? Who's ultimately leading? Is it LJ? Is it I? No, it's the members of Good Sam that ultimately lead us and guide us. And so you are the decision makers. We want to invite you into the last step of a big conversation that we've been having. It's about the Constitution.
And boy, that Constitution's a big one. Let me give you a little bit of history. In the last 25 years or so, we have been working under the board model, which takes about 35 or 40 people every year to work the business of the church. And in the last 5 or 6 years, Pastor Jeff started it, Pastor Ali really encouraged it, and then once we got Pastor Jed in place, we decided, okay, it's time to pursue that and look at it more closely. And we've come to learn that 7 people on a leadership team is a whole lot easier to find than 40 people. So what we've done is we have taken the board model and the leadership team model and have made it ours. We've been working for about 3 years on it, just about every week, as to make sure it's the best thing for Good Samaritan Church. Last year, we presented that Constitution and bylaws to you in written form, and we have had a year to practice that. We have not made any changes, and we have just found out what it's like to be a leadership team. And what we've learned is pretty exciting. We are excited to go forward with this. So you get to vote as to whether or not we become a leadership team model.
So you might be asking the question, so what do leadership team members do? What's the model responsible for? The first thing that the model is responsible for is helping the leadership team monitor the overall health of the church. The second thing that the leadership team does is they encourage me and they hold me accountable to the position that God has called me to. The third thing that the leadership team does is they set clear goals. They set clear strategic and spiritual goals. The good thing is that we've already done that for 2023 and we're living into that. The fourth thing that the leadership team is responsible for is crafting and monitoring the budget. And the last thing that the leadership team does is they step into crisis when and if it occurs.
So we're really excited about starting that leadership model. I will tell you, 183 churches within the Pacific Southwest Conference are operating under the leadership team model. 2 churches in the Pacific Southwest Conference have not adopted that yet, and we are one of those 2. And so it's going to help us communicate better with other churches, to learn and grow as we do. And so I can see nothing but win-win going forward as long as you decide that it's what we need to do.
Yeah. So we're really excited. We've seen the benefit, we've seen growth, we've seen our church get healthier and stronger spiritually because of this model. If you have questions, if you're wondering about why or when or how or the steps that we've taken, we want to encourage you to ask them. You can send an email to the church. Just use the church email address, and just in the tagline, just put questions about the Constitution.
And that email address, by the way, is office@gsccc.net. Make sure you do that. So what else was happening that day on February 5th, Jed?
Yeah, so the other thing that's happening that day is we are going to be voting on Sherry Johnson. She has raised her hand. She has volunteered her support to join the leadership team as our secretary. She's volunteering to capture the conversation of what we're talking about, what we've decided, what's in progress. One of the things about Sherry is that she has a background in tracking details and wrangling details and communicating clearly. You might be asking, Sherry, who? Who is she? She's new to us. She's just become a member, and she's jumped in at Good Sam with both feet. She has a huge heart for this church, and she wants to serve in every way possible. Our nominating committee was in the process of asking people to consider this position, and unfortunately the people that we were asking, they couldn't at that time, or they were out of bandwidth, or they were just plain tired. And so we were getting no after no after no after no, and then all of a sudden her name was brought to us, and she said yes immediately. And so we've been in the process of getting to know her, and her getting to know us. She's come to several meetings. We've been interviewing her. We've been talking to people that know her, and we're just excited for her to join our team. You might be thinking, well, isn't this a little bit too soon? Shouldn't new people stick around? I want to remind you that the reason we are where we are is because new people have come to the church. New people have become members. New people have given the best of their time, talent, and treasure. I think about Becca Stewart. She became our treasurer in the middle of a pandemic. She was new. I think about Pat Kessler, who is now a part of our leadership team. She was also a part of our staff, and she was brand new. I think about Deb Munns, who is a part of our staff and a part of our ministry team leader organizational program, and she was new to us. And we're just seeing that people who are new, who are enthusiastic, who are committed, can and are making a huge contribution. The other person that we're going to be reflecting on and voting on is Ann Snitchler. She's also become a member, and she's going to be joining our nominating committee if you so choose. The nominating committee, they pray and they identify upcoming leaders. And so those are 2 people that we would love for you to meet, and we're hoping that you would say yes, that you would give their affirmation so that they can get busy helping the church move forward.
Fantastic. And so let's see, one more thing. Let's see, what is it? Sunday, February 5th, after church. We'll see you then.
See you there.